Hey guys, should I click this link? I feel like maybe I will actually become famous. Sorry for the slow start. I just got some feedback from Fagudo as I was starting the stream. And so I fell down a rabbit hole for 3.5 minutes instead of actually starting the stream. So enjoy that. Love that. So I'm really quickly going to try and ship an update to this map. And then I'll go back to working on Hydra, the regularly scheduled programming that we're all here for. Wow. That'd be why. No idea how this is going to play out, so I'll let Fagudo test it. Alright. Now that I can close that for the time being. Alright, we're back. So, my objective today, now that I've completely satisfied that, is to finish the second Zerg AI. What is this? No. we'll just have to restart that because there's an advertisement inside it. So, check this out real quick. What's up, Connor? Just by a little bit. I'm trying to start streaming at 8 o'clock in the morning, so 45 minutes earlier than now, instead of 9. For one, that's going to be required on days like tomorrow where I'm doing the early shift. So, pretty important. So there you go. Looking around here, seeing if there's anything else I need to mess about with. I think I probably could reduce the foliage over here, and but I don't really know what the end result is going to be. We're gonna have some grass. We're gonna have just a bunch of shit. So. What's up, my name is Lil. Yeah, with my full toilet submission in the can. I actually just posted an update for it based on Fagudo's feedback. But with that taken care of, we are moving on. already updated the first AI, so I'm going to move on to the second. I was actually messing around with them a little bit earlier. For example, I forgot to change over the priorities to the new system that we use for the random expansion, so I did that. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I still have to spend a little bit of time working on... Oops. 9? Yeah. I still have to spend a little bit of time working on stuff like the build threads for the mains and whatnot. But at least I did all the base layout placements already, so I don't have too much actual work to do. It's just some menial stuff. I was able to be somehow very productive yesterday. Pretty cool. And I'm gonna add another expansion here. Ah, shit. Maybe this is easier. All right. Done with that. And locations. Excuse me. don't think I actually used the... Oh, maybe I do. Dynamo's got his setup back. Exciting stuff. Moved into the new place finally. I don't know why I always like to work backwards, but we'll do expansions and then we'll do the main. Zerg are definitely the most exhausting AI to write, just by virtue of all of the different things you've got to do for them. That's why multi-threading is super important for these clown emojis. All right. I'm starting to get my idea cap on. Yeah, working on Redwood, and I'm also coming up with some ideas for how to use add build in expansions and stuff. What are you working on, Icor? Oh, by the way, in our DMs, I did find the graphics you were talking about. I had already sent them to you, but... What units did you want? Outlive, Avenger, Flamethrower, and something else, right? Well, they're meant to be a sister pair or whatever you want to call it. So the basic idea behind one of them is like Mutaling style gameplay with some range backup, whereas that's Cordovan, and then Redwood is more slated towards cornering everything, and will probably be an early adapter of Nidus Canals. So... a struggle is to find ways to keep them unique compared to other AIs that the Terrans are going to be fighting when you play the Terran campaign. Like Olive, Zerg, the one that Sunken Rushes is like very distinct. But that doesn't mean that I can't use excessive colonies or whatever in other contexts. Aberrant full toilet. That sounds like a disease. Well, the next full toilet will be co-op, like team campaign crap full toilet. So it'll be a team of 2, and those 2 people will make multiple maps together. So there's definitely potential there. I also downloaded the Unreal Engine 4 earlier today, or yesterday actually, last night. I haven't opened it up, but it's installed. So I'll be able to mess around with that later. this isn't great. So let's do this elsewhere. Because this leaves a lot to be desired. This is also going to leave a lot to be desired, but it's the only way that I can think of checking it. Without some new command. So I think this architecture here will help us, even though it's a lot of like jumping to a single block for a single check because of the way that seemingly how you have to do that sort of thing. So unfortunate, but. So it looks like they get up to 11 before they have to wait for the third hatchery. All right. 12. Wait. Yeah. 12, 13, 14. 14 is the first floor colony. So we've done our due diligence with regards to the first expansion. Move on to the next. I probably need to pump up the minerals in this area. Looking kinda low, but it is going to be a third, unless the player takes it sooner than that, so... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. When the music stops. We call that unfortunate. I feel like that one's not very useful, and will only open up the AI to getting kissed in negative ways. So we'll leave that. Yeah, shale seems like a pretty good starting point. Yeah, base layout support for morphing structures would be pretty nice. If kind of annoying to designate, but... Yeah, I was actually just setting up the add build logic. I'll I actually would be interested in seeing if you have any ideas for how to simplify this. I'll paste bin you the stuff. Because I think it's way too, like, it feels really wasteful to have to do a check for whether or not it's in a specific area. The reason you have to do that check, though, is because each expansion has different add build limitations. Like, the cap of number of hatcheries that I want the AI to build in each expansion is different, as well as layers. So... I don't know if you have any ideas about that, but it would be awesome if you did. Well, it would have to be a new command, I think, if we were going to do something, but I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know what that command would be, I guess. It would be like a script command that would... Well, the difficult thing is, I can't just throw in calls here to... I don't know. I have no idea. That's a tough fucking problem to solve. Because you basically need to somehow... So basically add build, instead of adding a new command, I think we should be able to do... So here's how we could do it. I guess this is how... I could simplify this in another way. Here, I'll put it in another area so I can just mess around with it. So this is like the old stuff, right? And then if we go into here, into the new stuff, in the add hatch, I can do... I can actually do this check in here, I think. Or maybe no. Maybe I can't. What am I thinking? What was I thinking about that? Well, yeah, that's not really what I'm talking about, though. I just mean, like, there needs to be a way to check the upper limit. Like, maybe add build should should have a flag that's like... the cap that you can put in there, and then you can somehow edit the cap depending on what you want. Like, so there should be a limit to how many structures you can add with add build, and then you would you actually, Alexander, read the description. How are you? So for this command, you'd be able to throw in a limitation. Say, like, by default, the limit is 5. But then you would be able to just call this command based on what res area ID you're in. And then I wouldn't have to have the safety check, right? Because the only reason I have this check here is because I need to not add build if there's already a limit. So yeah, just adding an add build limitation, like a cap, to add build would fix this. That's somewhat connected to what I was babbling about earlier, I guess. I might as well still be asleep at this point. Okay, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or 7, 8. Yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is over here. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you can add that, that would be great. That would solve the problem that I was just having. Did you even control for limits in your scripts? I haven't looked at them enough to know. I was looking at your usage of attack add relative, but not anything else. Oh, you don't loop that. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see. You do have this here. That makes sense. So you made each individual thing its own loop, it looks like. Instead of this isolated function that I was going for here. I feel like I missed one here. Oh, yeah, I missed 6. That looks at things. Yeah, that could work. I don't see any issues with that. That would simplify that my code that I sent you. That would simplify that a lot. So. So how's your map going, Alexander, if you're still hanging out? Figures that the last expansion I do is going to be the one that requires the most fucking writing. Nice. I don't think that's right. 13, yeah. I skipped some. I mean, I could throw it in here, and eventually I'm going to be testing this AI later today if everything works out, so sure. If you want to send me the A's files. What's up, Ultralisks? It's not really a full rewrite. It's pretty close, I guess, because we're basically all of the new techniques and functions and like best practices that I developed while working on, to a lesser extent, the Stormborn update, but also mostly the full toilet submission that I released recently. I'm basically taking those and putting them into the old scripts. But it results because I'm axing all of the attacks and rewriting all of the build threads. It basically is a rewrite. It's just I'm plugging it into an existing framework. Although I'm changing a lot of the basic stuff too. So I guess, but really I only needed to do a lot of that for the Zerg. I will also do a little bit for that for the Protoss, but the Terrans will remain, I think, the most, like, true to form. I think it's like the fourth time at this point, because there was I never worked on a remastered Hydra version, but I did work on worked on this map way back in like mid 2018. It was like May or something. I mean, not 2018, 2019. Maybe it was December of 2018, but I'm pretty sure it was like early to mid 2019 is when I first worked on it. And then there was some months off, and then I worked on it again. And then obviously in December of this past year, 2019, I worked on it, rewrote it, messed around with it, and now here we are. So there is at least 3 times, yes. But I think it might actually be more than that. Oh yeah, Braver Micro can make an appearance in this map. For sure. What's up, Constantinok? They have to be a remastered compatible mod. So the exe files are mods. Some of them are compatible with remastered. They're only compatible with remastered. But the vast majority of them are 1.16.1 only. So they won't work. However, I can give you a link that tells you how to set up the older version of the game. Fairly easy. Maybe that will help you. But yeah, most of them you can't play on remastered. Like all my work you can't play on remastered, for example. What can I say about it? Like remastered Hydra? Well, it was a necessary step to get here. And I mean, I'm glad that I explored what's possible to work on with the remaster. But at the end of the day, it's not much to write home about, you know? Oh, it's this song. This is an embarrassing song. Close enough. You can't play it anymore, Connor, because that version broke like a month after I released it. Because Blizzard releases patches for that game that add more microtransactions and break mods. So I don't know why, but they do. Yeah, exactly. A lard, by the way. A classic move. Updating terrain in the wrong map. Alright, anyway. Yeah, well, the Hammer Falls is probably the best map of them all, but the fact that your heroes defeat you if they die is pretty gay. Okay. Alright, so you added an add build thing, you said? I'm gonna make some recursions here. They are decorative, but if I end up making better graphics or finding better graphics later for mineral decoration, I will slot them in instead. This is 8. This is 2, 3, 6. I'm not sure about the excavation shit. That's probably going to be Brood War Hydra if it happens at all. But at the rate of progress, I'm thinking we're probably not going to even get to the point where we're doing Brood War Hydra. Like, we'll be making our own RTS by the time, like, before we end up making Brood War Hydra because of the insane technical requirements that Brood War Hydra would have. And yeah, Connor, I mean, I think you should try to make heroes worthwhile, but you should also make it so that if they die, the punishment is not failure of the mission, it's just you don't get that unit anymore. So it's like, there's still a sense of uniqueness associated with the usage of the hero at that point. And when it comes to like the comedy stuff, I don't mind having rebuilding heroes because then it's like a bit about them cloning or whatever, like in my Mapcraft submission. But I mean, I think you could even do something like I might even end up doing that in Consummate. I might even end up having the ability to reconstitute Stralium or something like that. You just spend a fair bit of time and resources, and it'll be at their dedicated hero structure. And then, you know, the punishment is losing them, but it's still like hefty. You know what I mean? Like that's basically the Warcraft 3 route, how they handled reviving heroes, but that's way better than Starcraft 2 that just hands you them after 60 seconds or something. It's ridiculous. So I think I just have to do the main now, right? Oh, I have to do attacks. Well, actually, I have to do attacks for the first AI and copy the current attacks that are in the first AI for the second AI. Because that's not psychotic. Goska will cloak, yeah. Astralium will, like, deep burrow or whatever. Deep tunnel. Alright. That's fine. But I will have to change up that at some point. No, yeah, when the hero dies, it'll be exactly like what I was talking about a while ago for Hydra's new version, where they disappear in some way. They basically make their escape. Like I talked about how Raynor will disappear in a cloud of smoke. A smoke screen grenade. He'll drop one of those and vanish. And like you're not really meant to take it quote unquote seriously, but the idea is he's able to get out. Maybe there could be like you know how the in those old spy movies you'd be able to jettison yourself from the seat of the vehicle and fly off basically into stratospace, like into the stratosphere. You just jettison yourself and fly. That you could do something like that for like the Goliath hero or something in Hydra, but in Consummate it's pretty simple. It's just Goska will cloak for all players and disappear, even for the player that owns him. Strawlium will just burrow. So the idea is that they'll make their escape somehow, and off they'll go. Well, yeah, Kerrigan burrowed when you beat her, but then she would come back. Like, I'm still on the fence about respawning heroes, but my idea was the hero leaves the battle to recover their, lick their wounds, basically, heal, and then they're available in the next mission. Something like that. It gets a little trickier if the hero is required to move somewhere. Like, if you remember in the 4th mission where there's that confrontation with the Dark Templar, like, Goska's supposed to be there, so obviously the new version may change a lot, or with regards to the cutscenes and stuff. I haven't really thought about that, but oh, thanks, Alexander, making multiple accounts to boost my numbers. So, there's still some edge cases to figure out, but I think it'll work out. There'll be some way to do it. It could be something that I end up doing is having a different bit of dialogue, or maybe even just different voice acting and, the same sort of line, depending on what happens. Like, the briefing could be like a mission report of the next mission or something, and I mean, they'll fall and there will be a transmission that lets you know that you lost your hero, obviously. But yeah, like, maybe all of the lines from Goska that play after the fact could be like more like sounding like he's in pain and suffering because he's trying to not die, or he's like limping back to the hive cluster. Could work. Attacks are taken care of. Oh, I have to do these as well.
You'll be hearing things about blood sacrifice, death, occultic symbols, the upside-down cross, possession, distorted faith, darkness. All these things are involved in satanic worship.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, get some more water, and then smash out the rest of this town thread, and we'll see where we are from there.
Now pay attention again to the beat of the drums, and then listen as the song starts to tail off. You begin to hear screams in the background, which is a symbolism of people becoming possessed as it's being sung.
All right. Hi. Oh shit, I forgot something. Almost lost my keyboard there. Alright. Yeah, I forgot to take my vitamin D earlier. That's an important part of everybody's day. Alright. So, what do they got for hatcheries over here? I might end up adding one. Let's see. Looks like only 4. Could definitely throw another one in there. Okay. Just had to add a... That's a pretty fucking modular system, actually. I like that. I am a fan. We'll take it. But yeah, I had to add a little notation there for the main. I feel like this should probably be its own area. Now, how did I do staging in here anyway? Okay, it's just a new block. Set over here. I guess that could work, iClear. You could define it in either A's or GPTB or whatever. I guess A's is more future-proof. Yeah, I don't see any reason why that can't be useful. I don't think there is any progress on that one. Would definitely be nice. Maybe the secondary scripting system can do it. Ah, shit, I'm gonna have to do Chasmo Colony base layouts too. Not for this map, but for later. Have to factor that one in. All right. Excellent. That's done. Honestly, this is looking pretty nice. The fact that we get to just throw all this shit out there whenever we feel like it. And we have pretty good freedom now. With regards to AI stuff. I'm happy about that. Never mind, I know what happened there. Alright. The tough part is done. In fact, most of this is done. Just gotta get the tech in there. Still a pretty long script, but it's alright. Significantly better than all the other ones were. Like, I think if you look at, oh, the old Redwood script was a little bit smaller. Wow, the Terran scripts were significantly larger, though. Strange. Well, anyway. I think that's actually it for this. Oh, I need to do Basilisk Den. Alright, so I have to redo the attacks for the Cordovan script. So that's over here. But I think this one is completely done. Let's just get rid of the comments. That's probably me trying to figure out why the AI was breaking. On attacks, before I realized it was my triggers. Oh, I see. All right. Wow, it's only 10:06. Man, these early streams pay off. Well, first we have to set all these up. Well, yeah, it's just I have so much more time than I thought I did. It's pretty epic. Holy money! How much money do they start out with? I feel like something's wrong here. Just me not paying attention, I guess. They appear to have the creep colony bug, unfortunately. All right, have a good one. Still pretty slow with that one. Early hatchery will be good for their aggression in the early game. I think they should go for a fast Hydralisk speed upgrade. They do go for fast speed, which is good. Oh, interesting. Looks like they fail to spread creep fast enough. Oh, well, that's just because I can't really count on that happening because that's because of the creep colony bug. But what the fuck? Why did they double over here? Is this the right location? Looks like it. Eviscerated. So unfortunately, they don't really build large armies per se. It doesn't seem like anyway. But that's probably because of the attack add relative stuff. I'm not sure if the defense is bugged either. I'll have to call some prints or whatever. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, it's clearing. So that's not the cause of it. I gotta go see why my dog's whining. BRB. Okay, I'm back. That was quick. My dog is pretty funny. Pretty dumb. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's That's gonna go down here. The lack of a creep colony start is definitely a problem, but... I also don't know what this copy of the thing is. Just move that over there, I guess. I guess it was a backup, but... seems a little silly to do that way. So even, now they're starting out at a disadvantage here. Oh, I forgot to... those prints out. Another thing that I might end up doing is adding a baseline number of units for the early attacks before they end up getting a large number. But I think that can be emulated anyway in the algorithmic shit that I'm doing, where instead of bothering there, I can just do something like attack add for a Hydralisk. You know, like use this as a base or whatever. That way they'll have most of those as attacks anyway. But yeah, as you can see, despite the fact that they start out with one less drone in the early game because I have to build this colony manually, they do actually progress with building their shit. So it's just dumb. That will also reduce the overall amount of minerals that they end up having, though. Oh wow, they already have that as a sunken. Yeah, they're going pretty ham at this point. Looks like they already got the request for adrenal glands. I mean, adrenal surge. Why would they already have that? Oh, I see. I don't need to spend money on that so early, I don't think. I don't actually think... I should probably move the Hydra Den slightly, because I don't think they can actually get in to build their spore that's going to go there. Problem is, it leaves them pretty tight. Like, not a whole lot that they can do there. What if we do something like this? Well, let's just see if... Oh. Apparently I missed them getting attacked. I'm pretty sure they're just going to spin around trying to build it, but maybe they can... Yeah, they can't fit there. That's a... I feel like that's a better one anyway. Better setup. Pranked. Pranked out of money. Archons. They're merging. Oh, okay. After all that, they finally decided, hey, I should just build it somewhere else. Wow. Check out my Zeratul, by the way. Oh, man. I see I missed an annihilation over here. Hi. Utterly Vorvid. Escaping with 8 HP. Imagine the reality. Ah, shit. I forgot about that bug. Oh, what a mess. Spare me. Spare my eyes. What? Oh, he's still trying to build that. That's funny. Alright. Well, there's definitely some issues that need to be resolved, but, you know, that's just how it goes. Alright, so at this point, the big deals are, I guess, migrating the rest of the AIs to this style, seeing what performance improvements we get as a result. But the creep colony regression needs to be fixed, and the Vorvaling bug needs to be fixed, and the issue with drones not actually seeing each other or getting interrupted by each other when they're trying to build is something that also needs to be fixed. So gonna go ahead and upload the latest build for iCore to take a look at later. How do I come up with ideas for unit abilities and behaviors? A lot of them, I don't really know how to describe it. They just sort of pop out of the ether. But I like to imagine what combat roles could be filled with a really weird set or wide variety of actual implementations. Like, if you look at vanilla Starcraft, you have siege artillery potential from, like, siege tanks are like the closest you get to a conventional artillery unit. But even they have a bit of a wrinkle in that they can immobilize themselves, and that's how they gain a lot of range. And that's for Terrans. For Zerg, you actually have two. The Guardian is the most obvious, but the Defiler is the other one, and it facilitates siege by allowing weaker units to stay alive longer with its Stark Swarm. And that's really weird because you're getting the same kind of thing, but you're not doing it with long range. Like you're achieving the same goal with a very different implementation, and so you're supporting a very different composition. And then Ultralisks, I guess, would be the artillery unit in that sense, which is weird to think about because Ultralisks they're melee, but they have so much, tankiness that they can withstand a lot of punishment, especially when coupled with Darkstorm. So I kind of like to look at it that way. It's like Protoss have Reavers, and then they have carriers. So there's different ways that they can use it too. And they both have subunits, but Reavers obviously behave very differently than carriers do. In that they can fire and forget a projectile and then move around. By themselves, they can't move around at all, but when paired with shuttles, they become really, really deadly. And then carriers obviously have that kiting thing going on where they can sort of pull back and kite around. And I think that that's really neat. So I basically like to look at, say, a healer and say, like, how can I accomplish healing a unit, healing organic units? How can I accomplish that in a different way than what we already have that will add more, like a different style of play? It'll add support for a different style of play. Or it'll maintain support for the same style of play with a different composition or a different faction. And so that's where the Shaman came out. I came up with the Shaman because I figure you can have a reason to escalate from Medic to Shaman if you want to heal a lot of units at once. But you will need to spend a bit more APM to get that reward properly, whereas Medics are more fire and forget, but less powerful. And so I'm adding support for like micro-heavy play in a biological sense. Like, that's the premise. Obviously, if I execute well on that, that's another story. So definitely needs to be tweaked, probably. But I think it's a pretty solid premise anyway. But that's sort of how I look at it. And then, you extrapolate based on that. So. The other thing to consider is, like, I think the reason why it's super helpful to remain within the context of it's super helpful to remain in the context of the combat roles or the play styles or whatever that already exist within Brood War, because it lets you figure out how would I explain this exactly? It's like you already have something to go off of, so you can figure it out a little bit easier. So you can use that as an example. And Try and fill in the blanks from there. Yeah, in my Doom 2016 run, I was basically a casual. I basically looked past all of the very obvious, stupid visual flaws with that game. That game looks like a PS2 game, basically. It's really, really ugly. And I looked past the QTEs, which is the most sinful part of that run, that I never commented on the fact that the QTEs are... I mean, I probably did complain about QTEs once or twice, but it's so pervasive in that game. And it never should have been. I mean, to me it feels very similar to what I imagine Doom, the older Doom games, feel like. Except they added QuickTime events. And the levels are worse. It seems like, anyway. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Alright, I think I'm about done tweaking the environment. I might be interested in streaming Doom 2016 when I get better hardware. Recording it was whatever, but streaming it's going to be more intensive. That and the new game, the Eternal game that's coming out, I think this month or something. I have a feeling it's going to that one is going to be even more of a disaster, but we'll see. But that'll be after I play the rest of the franchise, obviously. Hey, you can do a fair bit with Jungle. It's pretty nice. I just wish there wasn't a reskin of Badlands, or vice versa. Yeah, well, that was a big complaint that people had, or at least I had, with the original game, is that the enemies are not a threat to you at any point. Like, it's very rare to die in that game, even on an accelerated difficulty, because you get the RPG progression bullshit that they added makes it so that your utility creep is insane. You end up getting crazy powerful and just ridiculously strong for like as far as progression goes. Instead of it being like foundational mechanics that you master. Yeah, there should be more shrubbery and more different types of foliage and more tree variants and stuff. There should be roving packs of Bengalas that attack your worker line sometimes. Bagel ass, by the way. Yeah, vines and grass. DF is going to be working on a jungle cliff. And he's also made swamp water already, so... He's going to modify the water to be greener, I think. Which will be cool. Really, we should allow, no, I don't know. It's probably fine. Like, I like when, you see, like, the creep sort of swallow up the trees and stuff. I think that's cool. Yeah, he's recreating a lot of the old, assets. Just to see as a test for matching the lighting and some other stuff. Oh yeah, well, wait until you see DF's collaboration with me that we're working on. That map is so green. It's because he made a sunken jungle on top of like there's default jungle, sunken jungle, raised jungle, or low jungle. I guess it wouldn't be sunken, but it's like sunken ground in the Brood War tile sets. And then he made swamp water that blends with low, medium, and high jungle, like low jungle, medium jungle, raised jungle. He's going to make those custom jungle cliffs that are like dirt rocks with a lot of jungle grass and moss on them. The base tile is basically going to be jungle. The jungle tile, the grass tile. So, it's going to be pretty cool. Meanwhile, over here, as a contrast, I'm going to be replacing all of the green stuff with yellow stuff. So there'll be, like, all the foliage will be green, yellowish. And all of the, all this will be grass, raised grass and all that. So. Well, it looks janky because it's missing inner corners and it's just fucked up with how it blends with itself. So those are areas where DF is going to. He's already made the inner corners, but he's got to. I think there's plans to improve that too. Yeah. So. And yeah, it has hidden doodads that are just the bases for the jungle shrub sprites, like this one or this one. The 3 small sprites. It has base doodads for that. So you could place those if you wanted to, but that's it. So yeah. Doodad update packages, in my opinion. Well, I think that'll do it for me today. I'm gonna go get some food. That's what I'm gonna do. We've got 2 working AI. Just need to fix some bugs with the plugin and obviously do the other adaptations. There's 3 AI to go. Protoss will be the most involved. The Terrans should be easier. Yeah, the ice tile set is definitely the most complete. While jungle is the most versatile in vanilla, but the ice is the most versatile in Brood War. I think Ashworld and Space are the least versatile ones. Unfortunately. Oh, I just realized I never updated the plugin. Gotta do that real quick. Yeah, you're really on the whole interactive terrain kick. I do kind of like the idea of being able to smooth out unbuildable terrain at a cost. Like paving over areas, basically. I still like the idea of a Terran ramp that can lift off and land. It'll be tactical platform. And it lifts off and lands and attaches to a wall. Like drills in. And suddenly, destruction. Just imagine getting backdoored. Like, what? Huh? That I do want that in Hydra, just because I want like you play like I guess it would be the second Zerg mission, and suddenly just Terran ramps are being installed behind your base or something. I don't know. There could be a lot of really funny stuff with that. All right, I'm gonna put this in the Mega archive that I linked quite earlier because. It's the latest version. Go ahead and make a backup as well. Yeah, but if it's also unwalkable, it would still require region updates. All right. Anyway, I'm out of here. I gotta go to the bathroom. And then I gotta go to work. Unwalkable. Unassailable. Unassable. This is assable. Bye. Yes.